Welcome to week 3. You are making progress, and I'm super excited for you because we're at a crucial phase in this course. And like I said, week 5 is crucial. So from this point on, week 3 leading all the way to week 5, this is crucial. You're going to need to pay attention. If you need to replay these videos, go ahead and replay the videos. But let's make sure that we stay focused and we stay on track. You're going to do some exercises in this week that's going to start helping you to relax more and to help with your mental and your self-esteem. So this week, today, assignment is we're going to talk about the impact of self-esteem and the impact on your self-esteem and emotional health. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's go ahead and get with it. Identifying the impact on self-esteem and mental health from a narcissist involves recognizing specific signs and symptoms that can result from prolonged exposure to narcissistic abuse. Here are some key indicators. Impact on self-esteem. Let's talk about that. Some of the impact are chronic self-doubt. That's when you constantly question your own decisions, your thoughts, and your perception, often because the narcissist has undermined your confidence. So when you once felt like you could do something with confidence and at ease without thinking twice about it, the narcissist had demeaned you and made you feel like you wasn't doing a good job. Now you're psychologically asking yourself questions like, am I doing this right? Could I be doing this wrong? So that's part of their tactic as well. But it's also to bring your self-esteem down and to mentally, psychological mess with your mind. Low self-worth, feeling worthless, or believing that you don't deserve better treatment. Often as a result of repeated criticism and devaluation. So when they devour you and they constantly keep criticizing you, you start feeling worthless, like you start lowering your esteem. You could be like up here and all of a sudden you like down here because you listen to them too long. That's why it's best to end a relationship at the beginning of the criticism when it starts, because when you stay in it too long, you start diminishing yourself and you open up that door for the narcissist to keep depositing negative thoughts in your mind with the words that they use towards you. And then there's perfectionists. So you strive to be perfect in your attempts to avoid criticism. You also try to gain approval, leading to constant stress and dissatisfaction. So you constantly try to keep doing the best that you can, and no one is perfect. You're going to always find yourself making a mistake when you try to be perfect. So you want to give yourself room, give yourself grace and mercy, okay? That's why grace and mercy is extended to us by God, because we're not perfect. Over dependence on validation. I have seen this a lot. Relying heavily on external validation, especially from the narcissist, to feel good about yourself. You don't need that narcissist telling you that they value you, because they don't. And you don't need the narcissist trying to give you your self-esteem, because your self-esteem come from you. It don't come from another person. This is why I'm teaching you to build your self-esteem and how to protect yourself, okay? And then there's feeling of unworthy of love. Believing that you are unworthy of love or respect, which can lead to staying in the unhealthy relationship. That's how they keep you. Because you don't think that you're worthy of anybody else coming along to love you better than that person. Basically, to love you, because the narcissist don't love you. That person is just controlling you, and you are their puppet, and they are your puppet master. So you feel like, well, I'm not worthy of love, so why do I need to try to leave this person and go and find someone who can treat me better? That's a part of your psyche, okay? Now we're going to talk about the impact on mental health. Anxiety. Remember I said I didn't know that anxiety was real because I had never experienced it. When I experienced it for the first time, I didn't know what I was experiencing. I just knew that these symptoms that I'm about to tell you about, I was having them. And I didn't know that's what it was until eventually some time had passed and I started saying to myself, you know what? I got anxiety. I cannot believe that I have anxiety. This is what's going on with me. Oh my goodness. Because every time I got around that person, every time I got around my ex-husband, I felt like my heart was tightening, my chest was tightening. I felt like I had to be in defense mode. I was ready to fight because I was always in an armor. I feel like I never could take my armor off when I was around him because I didn't feel safe. I felt like I had always had to be ready for war because he was going to bring it. And it brought on anxiety because that's not how I'm built. I'm not built to be always on defense mode, but I had to be that way. So anxiety is persistent feeling of worry. See what I just said that? I had that. Nervousness. Yes, had that too. Or unease. I was very unease. I remember when he would drive my car most of the time, he had his own car, but yet he would insist on driving mine. I should have put a stop then, because I used to think in my mind, why is this dude, why is he driving my car? I can drive myself to work. I don't need him driving me to work. But you know what he used? You don't like to drive, so I can drive you to work. You don't have to worry about driving. But I realized later on the reason why he was driving me to work for two reasons. Number one, so that way he'll know that when I get off from work, I will be with him and not going somewhere else, maybe to see another person or be with somebody else. So if I pick her up from work, I don't have to worry about her being with someone else. Another reason why he was driving me to work is because he didn't know when I was going to get off from work. I could have gotten off of work because the flight canceled or whatever and just showed up at the house and he was with somebody. Or he was, it could have been anything. But the point is that I knew it wasn't because of me. It was because of him. I learned that over some time. And then I started driving myself to work. I remember telling him, I'm going to drive myself. I don't need you driving me. You have your own car. I don't want you driving around in my car, putting all these miles on my car. And while your car just sit there and you don't put no miles on your car, you just sit there and their car just sit pretty while my car is getting ran down. And that's exactly what was happening, to a point to where he ended up overheating my engine and blew my engine out. I had to get somebody to put a new engine in my car because of him. Sure did. I remember that. He saw that car overheating. He saw the line. I know he did. You could smell the radiator. I kept saying that smelled radiator fluid. And then I looked over. I was in the passenger seat. And I looked over when he was on his way taking me to work. And I was like, no, this is messed up. I had to get a tow truck and everything. I remember that. My dad ended up coming, and when he showed up, and he was like, no, we got this. You go and you do you. I got this with my dad. My dad used to be a mechanic and stuff. So he was one telling me, your car is gone. You're going to have to get a new engine or whatever. Good thing I had a friend who knew how to put engines in, because my dad was too old to do that. So I ended up having the guy put the engine in for me. No, I did not tell my ex-husband that it was a friend of mine. I pretended that it was someone I didn't know. It was what it was. But hey, you have to do what you got to do, right? Anyways, let's keep going. So, you also will have symptoms of racing heart, sweating, and insomnia. Number two is depression. Experiencing prolonged sadness, loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed, and feeling of hopelessness or helplessness. Number three is PTSD or CPTSD, symptoms of post traumatic stress disorder or complex post stress post traumatic stress disorder. Includes flashbacks. So having flashbacks of things, nightmares, hyper vigilant, and emotional numbness. I mean, you don't even have feelings anymore. You just not feeling anything no more. You just came numb to the tragic. So I have a cousin who went through some stuff like that, and I witnessed her becoming numb to what was going on in her life and with her marriage and everything. And I was like, wow, that's a point I don't want to get to when I become numb to it and I'm just allowing him to just treat me like anything. That enough is enough at this point. At that point, I would say. Emotional instability, frequent mood swings, feeling overwhelmed, over emotional, and or either or, you can have both, experiencing intense emotion that are difficult to manage. Isolation, withdrawn from friends, family, and social activities due to feeling of shame, embarrassment, or the narcissist manipulation. So that's why I tell you once again, keep your social circle tight. Keep your friends close, your family members close, keep them tight, all right? Keep them together. And then guilt and shame, excessive feeling of guilt and shame, often instilled by the narcissist blame shifting and criticism. Trust issues, difficulty trusting others or forming new relationships due to betrayal and manipulation experienced with the narcissist. And we're going to talk about recognizing the signs. So this is how you can recognize the signs of if you're going through any of these things. So you got behavior change. Noticing change in your behavior, such as becoming more withdrawn, anxious, or overly accommodating. If you're overly accommodating the narcissist, like he put his tray down and you jump up and then you take it to the kitchen and start wiping it away. You overdoing it, like, because you don't want him to. You don't see my plate there. You ain't gonna get it and go clean it. Like, dang, you don't. You're constantly trying to keep the peace. That's overly accommodated. If you're doing that, you're experiencing those symptoms. Then you also have your physical symptoms. These are some physical symptoms. I went through one of these. No, I went through two of these. So, experiencing physical symptoms like headaches. I had the headaches. When you're reading the book, you're gonna read the part when I talk about the migraines. I had a migraine. It seemed like it, but migraines for a whole year. Now, who can go through something like that? It was traumatic for me. I thought I was going to have an aneurysm. I really believed that something was truly, truly wrong with me health-wise. I went to the hospital. Went to the doctors. They was doing all these test studies on me because they couldn't find anything. Did these TC scans on my head, MRIs, all that. They could not find anything. Everything looked normal. But as you read in the book, you'll find out what the problem was. But I will tell you this, it was stress. That's why I chose to take on this challenge for you guys to help you with. This is my task for you, is to help you to manage your stress levels and to keep you, because you might not have the situation that I had. My situation, that once I realized what it was, I did something about it. I decided that I wasn't going to let myself go out with an aneurysm because I had recently lost a cousin who was 35 years old to a brain aneurysm. And I was like, I don't want to die like that. And at this point, something's got to give, you know? So I took it upon myself to do something about it. And then you have stomach problems, fatigue without a clear medical cause, or, of course, we already know is often due to chronic stress, okay? So then you have cognitive difficulties. So struggling, now I did have this problem. Struggling to concentrate, remember, my memory was really messing up with me because I couldn't concentrate in making decisions. You know, I will wake up every day and rehearse what the day was going to be like in the mirror because I was ready for war. So I would get up and I would be like, if he say this to me, I'll be in there getting dressed. I remember my hands shaking. I couldn't put my makeup on. My hands would shake. And I couldn't like draw a straight line or put my makeup on where it won't come all the way out here and my lipstick all up here and down there. I remember, and I was thinking to myself like, what is wrong with me? But I would rehearse in the mirror while I was putting my makeup on what I was going to say to him, how I was going to react to some of the things that he would do. And I remember one time I said, okay, you know what, today I'm not going to argue. I'm going to be real calm. I'm not going to go there with him. I'm just going to be like, let him do all the talking. But I have a problem. And my problem is that I don't let you talk BS to me for long. I'm going to eventually talk back. And when he got to a point when he get to saying something stupid, I used to be like, whew, now I'm ready, you know, and we go back and forth, we will argue, and I'm like, you da-da-da, and he's like, you da-da-da. That's not healthy. I'm telling you, it's not healthy. It's not. Now, the last straw with us, when I was done, when he pounded my hand real hard. I had my hand on the kitchen counter, and he hit my hand really, really hard, and it hurt. It did, because he hit it with his fist as hard as he can, and all this was hurting. My left hand was hurting, and I had coffee, and he dashed his hot coffee in my face, and I took my hot coffee and dashed it back in his face. And that's when the physical started, right there. When he hit me for the first time, now he's trying to fight me like a man. That was it on that. That was the last time we was together. That was our last time together. But it got to that point, and it should not have gotten to that point. And because I was rehearsing how I was going to react with certain things, because I was fed up with the abuse. I was fed up with the mental and the emotional manipulation, the control. I was just fed up with it. And at this point, at that particular point, I was just really done with him. And and I say that because I was just like, it was enough. I was tired of him. I was tired. And I couldn't keep going on with my life like that. So those were problems that I was having with the ongoing stress. And then we have emotional reaction. So I just told you my emotional reaction. What my reaction was, that I was ready to fight. Now, but I'm going to read here what I wrote down. So emotional reaction is observing highlighted emotional reaction, or difficulty managing your emotions, which may be out of a portion of the situation. So, like I just told you, exactly what mine was. Though mine was that I was ready to fight. My emotional reaction wasn't to cry and oh my God, I can't believe you done me like that. No, I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm tired of this dude. You know, we're gonna go to war. Then we're gonna go to war. And I told you, he's really, really, really tall. 6'4", 200 plus 15 pounds or whatever. So yeah, he had his advantage over me, but I resorted backwards at that point. The way I was with my first husband, fighting, ready to go to battle. I resorted backwards. That was when the old me came out at that point. And that was the last time I allowed the old me to come out too. Like, I'm not going to keep this. I'm going to keep going through this. So here are some steps that you can take. I'm going to give you some steps to take. You're not going to do what I did, all right? You're not going to fight your man. You're not going to go toe-to-toe with your mate. You're not going to do that, okay? You're not going to fight your girlfriend, your wife, your husband. You're not going to fight them, all right? You're not going to go toe-to-toe. This is what you're going to do, though. This is what you should do. I ain't going to say this is what you're going to do. This is a choice. You're going to make this choice. Number one, acknowledge the abuse. You have to acknowledge it. Recognize and accept that you are experiencing or have experienced narcissistic abuse. Number two, seek professional help. Consult a mental health professional, such as a therapist or counselor, or even if you go to church, your pastor, they can help as well. So, but what you're going to do, you want to, or even someone who specializes in trauma or narcissistic abuse recovery, because you got some people out there who specialize in this and they can help you, which what I'm trying to do for you as well. What I'm doing for you is the tip of the iceberg, but you need to take it a step further and keep your journey with healing going, okay? You don't stop in this class. You keep going after this class, all right? And then number three is build a support system. This is why you got to keep your friends in your family. So reach out to trusted friends, family, and a support group for emotional support and validation. You need them to validate you, not the narcissist. The narcissist is not going to validate you in the right way. The narcissist is going to validate you to accommodate them, all right? You want to also continue to educate yourself. So you want to always continue to learn about narcissistic abuse and the impact on mental health to better understand your experiences and your symptoms. Number five, practice self-care. Engage in activities that promote physical, emotional, and mental well-being, such as exercise, mindfulness, and a hobby. You want to find something that you enjoy doing that's a hobby for you. Mindfulness, I'm going to teach you about mindfulness. I'm going to teach you how to do that. That's going to be later on this week. I'm going to teach you about mindfulness, okay? Then you also, actually, I think it's going to be day 3 when I teach you about mindfulness. I think that's day 3. Okay, so you want to set boundaries, establish and enforce clear boundaries with the narcissist to protect your mental health and your self-esteem. So don't allow the narcissist to keep overstepping your boundaries. It's time to stand up for yourself, okay? And then develop coping strategies. So this is what you're going to do as far as developing coping strategies. So you're going to work on coping strategies to manage anxieties. This is what I'm going to be giving you with the meditation and the mindfulness and your journaling. So you're going to you want to make sure this is going to help you to manage anxiety, depression, and other symptoms such as any type of grounding technique. I'm going to teach you that kind of stuff. I'm going to teach you, that's why you writing, and also relaxation exercise, how to relax and calm yourself down and get yourself in a place where your mind can be more focused on what's needed to be focused on, and not all that noise that's going through your mind, your ears, from what you've been hearing about yourself. So healing and recovery. Let's talk about healing and recovery. You need self-compassion. Have some compassion for yourself. Practice self-compassion and be gentle with yourself during the healing process. Don't be mean or hard on yourself. Empowerment. You want to focus on rebuilding your self-esteem and sense of self-worth by engaging in activity that you feel competent and valued. So whatever that's going to make you feel valued and competent. You're also going to growth and learn. So this is what you're going to have. You're going to use the experiences as an opportunity for personal growth, and you're going to learn from your experiences recognizing your strength and your resilience. So what I did was I wrote my book. That's what I did. I wrote this book. I also wrote this book too, which is 365 Days of Mindfulness. And then I also wrote another book that's called The Stress Eliminator. So what I did, I channel all my energy and putting it in words to get it out of my body, so that way I can just release it and keep going and build some resilience and everything. So understanding and acknowledging the impact of narcissistic abuse on self-esteem and mental health is the first step towards healing and reclaiming your well-being. So that does end today's lesson. Tomorrow is day 2. And we're going to talk about trauma trauma bonding, and why it is hard to leave. All right. Trauma bonding is something that keeps people in the relationship. We always wonder why they won't leave. Well, because there's a trauma bond there.